Hello, everyone. It is your girl, Souraya Christine. I am so excited to introduce this brand new podcast called What Is It Like to Be You? So, the premise of this podcast is just to bring the human back to humanity, okay? Because I feel like in the last few years, we have lost a lot of humanity and what connects us and what brings us together. There has been so much division. There is so much anger and hostility in the world. And I just want to do my small part in bringing back the compassion, right? And the understanding that we are all the same. We may look different on the outside, but on the inside, we're all the same. And so I just wanted to create a platform that allows for each of us to see the other person and find that connecting piece, that one thing that connects us together, and I'm sure that it's more than one thing that we can relate to another human being. And so that is what this podcast is all about. So I'm super excited to have my very first guest, Miss Maria Gresham. So happy to have you here. Please go ahead and take a moment and introduce yourself to the people and let them know who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Soraya, I'm so happy to be here. My name is Maria Gresham, and I am with Pinnacle HR Solutions. I have a doctorate in organizational behavior and business strategy from the
Wow.
Ohio State
The
University.
Ohio State
Yes, we
University.
do recognize. So, so 25 years of experience in business strategy and HR solutions for Fortune 500 companies
Wow.
and several nonprofit organizations like United Way and others, particularly in behavioral health. So delighted to have the conversation. Some fun facts for me. I do hail from Ohio. Um,
That's my home.
yeah. And it's just a pleasure. But I currently live in northern Idaho,
It
and
sounds
I
cold there.
actually it gets really hot.
Oh, wow.
In Boise, yesterday it was 94 degrees, I think.
Wow.
And then up here in the north, I think right now I think it's like 72 or something like that. But
Okay.
I've got 20 plus chickens and 3 goats, packing goats, and I have 5 hound dogs. Um, so I'm living the dream associated with both supporting the rural community from an HR standpoint, but then also having an opportunity to support those in a more metropolitan area. So it's
Wow.
absolutely fantastic. And my organization in Pinnacle HR Solutions is national. So
Nice.
that's me
Okay.
in a nutshell.
I love it. So I learned recently what a packing goat is, but so with the chickens, do you like supply your own eggs?
Okay, we actually give the eggs out. We
Okay.
actually don't sell them. We give the eggs out. I don't eat the eggs.
Okay.
I need mine need to come from the store. I need,
That's me.
FDA
I don't,
approval.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't like fresh eggs. Maybe I was just raised on, you know, whatever they do to them after they're not fresh. I don't know what happens with eggs, honestly, from the the time that they're created to the time they get to the store. I don't know what that process is like,
Yeah, but
but
everybody loves our eggs. Everybody
okay.
loves them. But I just like to get my things from the store. That, to
Okay.
be honest with you.
Interesting. That's interesting. I'll leave that right there where that's at.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So, on this podcast, I have 35 questions that we get
Ooh,
to
all
choose
right,
from.
let's get going.
We are not going to talk about all these 35 questions, I'm sure.
Okay,
However, we are going to cover as many as we can in this hour that we have together.
got
So,
it.
because I live in Las Vegas, I try to ensure that there is a little Vegas theme in everything that I do. And so, on this podcast, I'm going to ask you to pick a number 1 through 35.
We are going to start with 4.
Okay, we're gonna start with 4. And actually, you know what? I lied. I'm gonna ask you a question that I wanna ask you first, and then we'll go to number 4.
You got
So,
it.
my first question is, when you look in the mirror, what is it that you see
Someone that has served humanity today.
today? Okay.
That's or yesterday. Sorry. That's what I see. I done a good job when I look in the mirror in the morning? Like did I do a good job? And what can I do better and how I can do better? So,
Interesting. Okay,
yeah.
I like it. Number 4, what is a misconception that people often have about you based on first impressions?
Why am I in Idaho? Um, so I think I think the we'll go with the basics, and that's just we'll go with the basics.
Okay.
It's just when you take a look at personal character, what I look like outside, that there is not an understanding that I do have a doctorate degree, and not understanding that I have raised 2 uh, beautiful daughters that
Aw,
are both in university, and
nice.
they're doing very well,
Love it.
and that I am capable in not only managing a business, which I am doing and have done and continue to do and do well, um, and be independent.
So let me ask you this
I
as a
vote.
s as a s
I'm
and you
sorry.
said, "And you vote?"
Yes.
Amen. Why do you think that that's a misconception? Like, what is it about you when people meet you? So as a first impression,
Well, I
why
think
do you
there's a
think that?
historical aspect associated with women. I think there are certain components that may be accepted as a Black woman.
Mhm,
Strong, independent. We always work, and we manage and understand how to get things done. We will find a way. So I think that that piece is probably there. But I do think that there is a misconception in terms of how we are enabled to do that from an educational standpoint,
mm.
just from a livelihood standpoint. I'm just going to say, Madam C.J. Walker, first millionaire Black person,
Mhm,
found a way to manage business and to manage recognizing a need in the community, and not understanding that those are things that are really important to me. I am extremely excited about serving humanity and also building a business and building a legacy. And that's something that is extremely important. I think that's a misconception about what we are about.
mhm. Yeah, it's very true. I agree. As a Black woman, I understand that. So let's pick another number.
All right. 27.
Ooh, what a random number. Okay.
I think I'm
27
gonna go with
says
crimes maybe going forward.
I love it. 27 says, "What societal pressures do you feel most, and how do you navigate them?"
Yeah, so I think that's a great question. I don't know these questions, but but that's a great one. Living in Idaho, I'm sorry, give me the question again.
Yes, what societal pressures do you feel most, and how do you navigate them?
So living in Idaho, I'll be brief because we want to get through as many questions as possible. Um, I just want to make sure that individuals in Idaho know that I am committed to supporting the community. And I think that me not being from here, uh, I do need to prove myself. And I've worked very hard to support the community. I'm very proud of what I've done in support of border days, in support of local businesses from an HR standpoint, in supporting compliance and enabling conversations that I think are a little bit different than what has been held in the past.
Mhm.
So I will stop there.
Okay. So what do you feel like is a pressure though that society is putting on you? Is it more of like you can't really be, who you're trying to be because you're not from here kind of thing? Is that kind of what you're
I think
feeling?
it actually, to be quite honest with you, I don't think it's that. It's just, hey, are you going to stay and support and enable?
Okay.
And so my model is really around serving humanity,
Mhm.
regardless of where I am. And I think the community here, the pressure is, Maria, please prove that you're going to be here. And I love that
Mhm.
about where I am because it's not about race. It's not about my gender. It's not about that. It's about enabling community success. And that's what I'm charged to do. And so I feel like I do need to prove that, and I do need to prove that with time and showmanship, which I feel I have done.
It's interesting that you say that because I understand that because I live in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas is a very transient town, right? And
Yeah,
so people have that same kind of inherent like fear, I guess, of like, okay, well, yeah, you're coming in and you're doing this, but are you gonna stay? Like, are you
yeah,
gonna keep doing this? Like, we're gonna get invested and then you're gonna leave, kind of thing. So I do
right.
understand that. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Let's pick another number.
Okay. 20.
20. 20 says, if you could experience life from another person's perspective for just a day, whose would you choose and why?
Oprah. I'm sorry. That's the first one. You give me Oprah or Diana Ross, I'll choose those, but I'm going to do Oprah. One of the things that I do love about Oprah Winfrey is that she, in her life, and we don't have time for to review her biography, but she realized that there are key aspects or key actions that we can take as humanity. And if we do these things for ourselves and for each other, we all we all get better. We don't all get cars. Like you don't get a car and you don't get a car. But we all gain something. So her journals, her book clubs, her outreach to community, um, and that service and showmanship and time to talk about why these
Mhm.
things are important is absolutely fantastic. And I think she does a phenomenal job and continues to do that. Um, and I'll just leave it at that. I won't talk
That's
about
good.
it. So
Yeah. I think Oprah gets a lot of flack on different things, and different people have different things to say, but I agree with you as far as, how she shows up and the way that she's pulled herself up, by her bootstraps and the things that she's endured and had to get past and had to heal through in order to become the Oprah Winfrey. And
exactly.
I think that's incredible. She's somebody that I've looked up to as well. I always said that when I was a kid, my dream, and I don't even think Oprah was Oprah at the time, but my dream was to be an Oprah Winfrey, right? Like my dream was to be not having her name, but like the things that she has done and has accomplished has was my dream when I was a kid, like to have that to occupy that type of space in the earth. So,
If you think about, just real quick, if you think about the power of the Black woman, and if it and the fact that what she had to overcome, and not only that, she has been able to do that and enable so many others to overcome.
yeah,
That is the message. If you not only recognize your accomplishments, but there's an artist that says reach down and pull through. She reached and she's pulled so many individuals, and that's what you want to do.
yeah,
And however you do it, I mean, if you're a small business owner and you're reaching down and you're giving an opportunity to an individual that you know you know is may not have the education or what have you, if you believe, if you support, right, you win. He wins, she wins, whoever. And that's why I do love Oprah.
yeah. I think that's awesome, and I want to say thank you for saying that because as you were saying that, I was thinking about the platforms that I have built and the opportunities that I have given people. For instance, I do the Women in Leadership Conference, which is a national conference, and we go state to state. But I open up opportunity for 8 to 9 women to speak, to share their message, for vendors, for community. We're going to be starting an award soon where we're going to give a deserving woman a $500 award and a plaque. Um, Prayerfully in each city that we visit. Um, Gosh, there's some, we just started a mastermind community and an annual membership for women to join to be able to grow their businesses and their mindsets to higher levels and greater heights. And so, thank you for saying that because it made me stop and realize, like, okay, I may not be doing exactly what Oprah's doing, but I am doing something to
You're reaching and
do.
you're pulling through. You're
Yeah,
pulling through and helping
yeah,
others. And I think it's absolutely fantastic, and love to be a part of it. So,
yeah, absolutely. That's so cool. Okay, so we'll have to talk more about that. All right, let's choose another number.
all right, 7.
7. I don't know why I knew you were gonna say that. That's so funny. Um, what is a personal struggle? And this is something that you can share up to your level of comfortability. What is a personal struggle that you faced that might surprise people who think they know you well?
Hmm.
Or you can say pass.
No, I'm not going to say pass. I just need 2 moments to think about a personal struggle. Um, I think we all have moments when we, from a personal standpoint, need to make a change. And I think for me, I made a decision that my 2 daughters should be in a position of recognizing their power and their capability. And I wanted that opportunity for them to see that in a way from their mother and not be subservient. And that means not being subservient to a relationship or a workplace. And so I made a decision to move from one location with my daughters to another, and not only build a book of business, but also be a senior leader in a major organization in New York. And
Mm,
I'm very proud of that. And not only that, I am still a certified cheerleading consultant.
oh,
So, they did cheerleading. So when they did cheerleading, I became a cheerleading coach as
Okay.
well, and engaged in a lot of different activities in the community, children's ministries, and as well as other opportunities within the local community. And it was just because I wanted to um, ensure that they had a view of what a strong woman could do, because that's what I believe. And it was a decision to leave a dictatorship environment, um, male led, and move to another area. And I think that that was it. Not only was it good for my daughters, who both are in college, but it was also good for the community because they saw a strong woman raising two daughters
Mhm.
on her own, um, supporting the community, and enabling two and many wonderful women, or future women, be successful. So I will leave it at that.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Want to pick another number?
All right. 27. Did we do 27 or what?
I don't think. Oh, yeah, I think we did
Oh,
actually.
okay. All right. I
Mhm.
was going to do 13. Let's do 13.
Oh, that's my favorite number. Okay. In what ways do you think your generation is misunderstood by other
Yeah.
generations?
Yeah. All right. Come on with this one. All right. Because I'm Generation X. All right. So
I
let us.
never know what generation I am. I don't know. It's too many letters and numbers for me. I don't know.
I know we got to, it is. It's like one of my friends has he just did a book, and it's on Gen. He said it's Gen Z. And I'm like, Nice. Okay, I'm Generation X.
Okay.
I'm very proud on that. We are there are five in the workplace. There are 5.5 generations in the workplace. I say 5.5 just because of what Souraya said. It's like you don't the numbers kind of,
Yeah.
but we are the smallest generation. So point number one, this generation, my generation, we came about with a lot of the technology, e-commerce, et cetera. We are the first adopters of a lot of the technology that exists today.
Yeah.
We are the individuals that support and enable artificial intelligence. We are the enablers of the new change with respect to ways of work in the workplace. And we are the leaders during the COVID situation that helped manage successfully organizations to be successful. We are also the individuals that have had to deal and discuss the dismanagement of society and humanity. So I'm just going to use George Floyd because I think that that's the one that
Hmm.
may resonate most. But if you think about 1992, when the beating and police brutality in California, like we've actually experienced, in some cases enabled, but have addressed and progressed um, success.
Hmm.
And so, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like, I got on a
No,
soapbox.
that's okay. That was the. It says, in what ways do you think your generation is misunderstood by others?
So we are misunderstood because we are the smallest generation in the organization, but we actually carry um, our baby boomers and our in the younger generations, and we are not acknowledged for
Mm.
all of the things that we have done to enable society and humanity and peace. in the world. Um, I think our leadership capabilities have been missed in certain standpoints. And I do think that our opportunity for growth have been missed. And I think that's in part because we have the baby boomers and we have the millennials. And I mean no disrespect. You might get some likes or dislikes, but because both of those groups, which are very large in the workplace, are attended to, and we're not, and we are being missed. And then not only that, I just would make one more comment. We have to do things differently financially,
Yeah.
and so we don't bank on social security like the baby boomers, but our 401ks, and other options may not be an opportunity. And so we have to think differently about what we do, but we still have an obligation to support humanity. And that's what we do. And we don't get the accolades associated with our capability.
So that must be my generation. I must be a Gen Xer, I think. I
I
have to
mean,
look
if
it
you
up.
think about Cobalt, Java, C++. I mean, if you think about Amazon, if you think about a lot of these things that have happened, um, we were the first adopters.
Yeah. Yeah, so that definitely must be my generation. So I'm gonna put it out there to all of you in podcast land, in YouTube land. Go ahead and drop in the comments what generation you're in and how you feel like your particular generation is misunderstood by the other generations. I would love to hear your feedback on this question as well. All
And
right,
I
Miss.
appreciate the feedback and no disrespect. I just want to
Oh
say
no,
that.
no
But
disrespect to
I'm proud
anybody.
on Generation X. I'm proud.
Miss Maria, let's pick another question.
Okay, so let's do 32.
32 says, what role do you see yourself playing in creating a more compassionate and understanding world?
So I currently write for the Idaho County Free Press. And so that's a practical thing that I do to help organizations in terms of management with the focus in on serving humanity and serving employees in their particular roles. So that's something from a practical standpoint.
Okay.
For me, think that's a practical thing. For me, from a societal standpoint or humanity standpoint, just in general, I'm going to start with this. And remember, the introduction is kind of where I am and maybe what some misconstrued perspectives may be about me. I smile. It is a gift. It is absolutely a gift.
Yeah.
And so for me, what I try to do is to figure out a way how I can bring happiness to some individual. And at any point in time, the touch point only takes a second.
Yeah.
It only takes a couple of seconds for you. And it could be a smile, it could be a hi, it could be, let me help you with this. And then, of course, there are other broader aspects of doing the same thing with respect to give back through the community. So I do that. So I volunteer at the local chamber here, um, and I also support the Economic Development Center here at the organization. And then, as I mentioned, anytime anyone asks for any kind of help, I'm more than happy to do so. I just try to do as much as I possibly can.
I love it. That's wonderful. And I think more people should adopt that mentality. But I think a lot of people are so I look at the word selfish in two ways. I look at it in the negative, and I look at it as a positive as well, depending on how we're utilizing it. And I think a lot of times people in society are selfish in the more negative aspect, in that they're very self-centered and want to focus more so on themselves and their needs versus the needs of others in the society. And I feel like, honestly, based on my own human experience, when you release that sort of thought process and you are more of service to others, what you need automatically comes to you. That's how the universe works.
Right. You're absolutely right. You're my cheerleader. You're absolutely my cheerleader. I mean, I'm a cheerleader at heart, but you're absolutely fantastic.
I don't know. I just wish I wish more people understood that concept, but here we are. So let's pick another number.
All right.
So
2.
many. Ooh, all the way back to the beginning. Okay. How do you think your closest friends would describe you, and does it align with how you see yourself?
Hmm. So one of my closest friends said to me, if we can talk about emotional intelligence just
Yeah.
for a second,
Mm-hmm.
um, he said to me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your emotional intelligence? He and I are both in HR, just so that you know. So we have that piece in common. And I said, I think I'm a 9. And I said 9. I was thinking 10 in my head.
That's me.
and and I said, but I appreciate some feedback, and that's what you do as friends, right? You
Mm-hmm.
kind of so he said, well, I think you might be a 8.25. Now, we both come from a technical background, so we're going to use decimals. And I was like, no, actually,
What?
he said 7. I'm sorry. He said like 7.25 or something like that.
Okay.
And I thought, um, center.
Let me engage my emotional intelligence right now. Cause what?
I'm like, where are you coming from, my brother? I, so, so um
It's too funny.
so I asked him why. I mean, so the point being, long story short, he said I am always on stage.
Mm.
And again, he and I are professionals, and we work together. And he said, You're always on, and people want to see Maria.
Yeah.
So what does Maria look like?" And I was kind of like, Maria looks like Oprah on stage. I don't know. Just going back to that.
Yeah.
But it was really good insight, because um authenticity was the feedback.
Yeah.
It is okay to show yourself. It is okay to articulate your experiences. Individuals learn and they gain so much by that. We are not all perfect. Um and we're all still in a learning process, and
Mm-hmm.
we all need to learn from experiences. And so we need to be okay. Yes, I can do every aspect of an HR employee process. Yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do consultations. I can do all of those things. But I can share with you, from a personal standpoint, why that's important and not just go through the motions. And
Yeah.
that's what he was trying to say to me is, hey, it's okay. It's okay to share. And I think sometimes with me being a person of color, being a Black woman, we are known as being strong, independent women. We get it done. We will get it done. We'll figure it out. And what this white man who was is a friend of mine was saying, we need to change the tide. It's okay for us to be authentic and sometimes be comfortable with our, you know, being vulnerable.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Very, very good. What question do you want to go to next?
34.
30. You had that one on your mind, that number.
No, I didn't. I just
Okay, oh, this question is a little deep.
okay.
When was the last, actually, you might have this, the answer that you gave just now might tie into this a little bit.
All right.
When when was the last time that you took time to sit and reflect on who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and what your current values are?
So I think I'm gonna, so um that is something, if you are a good friend and a good colleague, remind an individual to do that because in the workplace we get so busy we don't. um I took that time uh on Saturday, this past Saturday, so that's the 22nd, June
Yesterday
22nd.
or the day before, a couple days ago. Yeah.
and and I actually sat in the salon chair. So
Mm,
choose your location and choose your people. And I actually had a conversation. The individual is a founder of three nonprofits, but
mm,
she also owns a salon. And I just actually, when I use that as my consultation, I just use that as the reflection because I am a extrovert.
mm,
So I like to think out and talk out loud, and I like for someone to hear. And she was the individual that I chose to speak with, and she gave me some fantastic advice that helped me in terms of reminding me of how I treat humanity
mhm,
because someone did a disservice to me and they were just rude. And I thought, I've been trying to figure out like, and she gave me some fantastic advice about, what, this too shall pass.
mhm,
And vengeance is managed elsewhere, not with me.
mhm,
And so you have to find that space, and you have to be comfortable with giving that gift, to be honest with you, to the other person, because there are individuals that love to help, and find that individual where you can give them the gift of allowing them to help, and then you receiving that gift back of being helped in that moment of pause. So,
that's good. And I think it's different for different people too, right? Because like for me, even though I present as an extrovert, I am very much introverted. I would much rather be by myself 97% of the time.
no,
So
I totally get it. I mean, there's just time, and I think it fluctuates too.
yeah, it does.
Yeah, because there are some times I'm like, you know what, I could be completely by myself, but then but I am, like I said, it's like you give me a microphone, I'm either Oprah or Diana Ross, pick
I
one,
feel it.
and I can and I can do it. But I did need to, but you do need to find a sentence. You do need
Yeah.
to, we are not in this alone.
Yeah, so kind of like a sounding board is what I call them, but just something to bounce what you're feeling off of, and it is also good sometimes for that sounding board that you choose, that you trust to be able to pour back into you as well. You can't always just.
Exactly.
So
And
I
the
love
only
that.
other thing I would say on this is find your board of directors. So these are people when you are not in the room. These are not mentors necessarily, but there are people that they happen to be at a spot and they are going to speak on your behalf. So you do need to, and she's on my board. She's on my board of directors, and so she speaks for me and when I'm not in southern Idaho, and I totally appreciate that, and I leverage the opportunity. And that's the other thing that I would say, particularly for women, we just feel like we can't, we can do it alone. We got this. Yeah, you do, but you don't have to do it by yourself.
Yeah, and you typically can't go to the next level by yourself either. Maybe you might get a couple of levels, but honestly, if you're trying to reach like a pinnacle of success or whatever that looks like for you, you're gonna need somebody else. And it's so funny that you brought up a board of directors, because that's another thing that I'm in the process of building right now for my nonprofit, is a board of directors, because I'm like, Soraya, you cannot continue to do all of this by yourself. And I've been doing everything by myself, even like the National Women's Conference. Every single step of it, every single piece of it has all been done by me. And it's been crazy, right? But it's been amazing. But at the same time, in order for me to continue to level up and reach more people and serve more people and do more and provide more opportunity, I have to have a team of people helping me to do that. And so that's the reason why I built the mastermind. And that's the reason why I'm building the board of directors. And as quiet as it's kept, that's also part of the reason why I've built the annual membership, the Elite Collective. So I appreciate you saying that, because to me, that's just validation that the track that I'm on is the right one. So thank you for saying that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's go with any number other than 35, because 35 is going to be our closing question.
Okay. All right. Got that score. Did I say 23 already?
No.
Okay, let's go with,
And this is a good one. So, how do you practice empathy in your daily life, and how has it affected your relationships?
okay. So, how have I practiced empathy and how has it reflected in my relationships? I do one every single day, kind of think about my own experiences, um, because I need to be in a position to understand myself. That's one. The second piece is that as I go throughout my day, I work really hard on active listening, because empathy means that you have to reach people where they are.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do it unless you have an understanding of where they are and then where you have been, and where you are at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then to be honest with you, I just try. I mean, this is a very hard question, and I would love people to put in the chat empathy and what you do. The only other thing I would say, this is a silly answer, because I seek a lesson on this. I do. Um, my goats. So I think I mentioned in the introduction that I have 3 pack goats.
Yes.
They follow me. When I go to, they just come and I say, "Hi, my boys. How are you doing today?" And then, if I take them hiking or something, they follow me. And I have to realize that they're going to go where I go. And if I don't understand their experience, then I can't lead them in a proper way.
Yeah. I like
So
that.
that's what I have, and I would appreciate if folks would, share on that score because I seek a lesson.
Yeah. I like that. That's a honest answer, and I like that a lot. And I think the other thing too with like the scenario with the goats is like also you have to consider their view as they're following you,
Thank
right?
you.
Like,
Thank you.
I think that's a huge piece of the puzzle too, because they can't necessarily see, they can only see you as their leader, right? Like they don't know where you're actually leading them to. So you have to consider what they're seeing. So I love that.
That is awesome. And thank you very much for that education because I think that that is extremely important that you have to be able to articulate, here's where we're going and here's
Mm-hmm.
why.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are gonna be some goats that just follow,
Mm-hmm.
particularly if you give them a branch, right? So, if you give them some leaves to feed on, they'll do. But I have one goat that's like finicky, and it's like, give me a business case. I mean, that's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
he won't follow, And so I'm like, you gotta come. And do you want to pull that goat? Or do you want that goat to like realize, oh, this is a good reason for going in this manner?
Yeah.
And I gotta figure out, what does that, what has that goat experienced? And I don't mean this in a negative way, not people are not goats, but yeah, it's kind of like, what am I missing that I need to experience in order to, reach, you know, the goat that usually doesn't take food is
Yeah.
Lumen. So,
Yeah.
that, you know, refuses to follow. Like, what do I need? So I really appreciate that, Raya.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we have just time for this final question. And I love this question. You started to touch on it earlier, so I would love for you to expound on just a little bit. What legacy do you want to leave behind, and how are you working toward it?
So, um, I would like humanity um, to know that one, I have um, helped build an HR infrastructure that supports a better way of working
Mhm.
in in our society. Secondly, from a legacy standpoint, I would like my daughters to be able to move forward and be successful in this world um, without the misgivings or the discrimination or concerns that I experienced
Yeah.
um, being here. Um, and then I would like to say just overall wellness understanding. There is, particularly for women, there needs to be an honesty associated not only with benefits and the wellness associated with that, but a financial wherewithal associated with that. And I would like to be able to demonstrate that through my legacy that I build um, in support of my humanity locally, but then also through my daughters. And then the education associated with that wellness, particularly for women.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on this very first episode
Oh, thank you
of
for having me.
What Is It Like to Be You? Thank you for sharing what it's like to be you in Idaho, in the world, and how you show up. So, if anybody out there wants to connect with you, how can they do that?
So please feel free to connect with Pinnacle HR Solutions. And so that email address is Pinnacle HR Solutions for you at gmail.com. And I'll
Awesome.
make sure that you have that information as well so that you can share.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for being here. It has been an incredible episode, and I look forward to staying connected with you and talking with you more.
My pleasure. Thank
Indeed.
you.
Bye.
Bye.